Hello, my name is Bambi Harris. I'm an author of over 30 novels. I'm here to present another writing tip to you to help on your writing journey. Today we're going to talk about storytelling, but you're like, well, okay, it's really your own rhythm. It's like telling you how to write a song when everyone is a different artist, everyone is a different genre. But I first wanted to talk about this woman that I knew. She had told me about, let me recall, she was telling me about how her and her father, they were both newspaper writers. They had inherited his brother's house, her uncle. She had two uncles that had lived there in the past. It was out in a distant village. It wasn't anywhere near where they were, and she really didn't know her uncles. The first one had died. She didn't know much about him, and the most recent one had died some years ago before he decided to take her to this house. So it was an older house. It was on a lot of land. There was a wooded area behind the house, and she noticed that when they first drove in, and she was telling me that there was a small cemetery there. It was kind of surrounded by little iron fencing and you know, just there was, I don't know if she said like there was 20 or 30 headstones or tombstones, but she said she found it very interesting until after being there for a short time, she walked up there with her dog, and she found out that what was interesting about these tombstones is all of them had different birth dates, but none of them had death dates. And she was really like confused by that, and she started to ask around, and her and her father, both being writers, delved into it further, and they started to find out the history of the house, like from a long time ago, long before her uncle owned it. And then she noticed a lot of strange things were going on, and she really felt that the people who well, essentially they had gone missing, and that's why there weren't death dates. And she found out it had something to do with the woods near her property, but no one knew what exactly until she started to look into it further, and it really did have a relation to the house that she lived in. But what was interesting is she also found out things about her father and her uncle, and she learned a lot about herself while she was there as well. I believe she opted to stay there in the end anyway. But the thing is, what was really interesting was when she went to the woods. And I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to come back to that. The thing is, you might say, well, okay, what happened when she went to the woods? Well, that is what storytelling is. And no trick, it is from one of my books called The Missing. But I'm not trying to sell you anything here. What I'm trying to explain is, when you write a book, if you really want to tell a good story, then you don't have to narrate it like I just did. But you tell it like so here, like you see a friend and go, Joe, you have to come here. You would never guess what just happened. And then just like you would tell a friend, what are you going to tell them? You would give them a bit of intrigue. You'll say, you'll never guess what that person did. You'll never guess what they felt about it. And then you would build it up, and you would give that voice. That voice is what you need to put into your writing. You need to tell people going, what did they say? What did they do? What happened? I can't believe it. That's fascinating. I can't believe that happened. Well, what did they do about it? That's what you want to put in a book. And I tell you why, because that's a page turner. That is like, it's the equivalent of someone saying to you, what happens next? That's the same as making it so the person reading it turns the page and says, I need to know what happened next. Tell me. Now, it's obviously not going to be exactly the same as a human-to-human exchange, but the reader needs to feel like they are being pulled aside and told an amazing story. It doesn't matter what the genre is. It doesn't matter if it's fiction or non-fiction. You need to create something, a feeling in it where someone wants to know what happens next. Even in non-fiction, where you're telling what happened in real life, or you're talking about like an ancestor or something like that, you would say they did this, they did that, and incorporate things about their personalities or about a particular town or about a particular movie star or whatever, that would be fascinating and interesting and make you want to look more into their personalities or look more into this particular town or look more into what this historical event. You want to tell someone, you want to pull them in and say, hey, listen to this, you will never guess what just happened. Give them that feeling. And that might seem like a really obvious thing, but it's not necessarily. When you're telling a story, you're going, well, Joe went to the store and Joe did this and Joe did that. But I'm telling you, to pull them in, make it more interesting. Well, you will never guess what Joe saw at the store. Just like that, you have changed the whole mood. You have gone from, say, hey, Joe went to the store today, and someone will be like, well, so what? Okay, everyone goes to the store. But if you say, hey, you will never guess what Joe saw at the store today, then your ears are peaked and you're like, well, wait, what did he see? That's interesting. It sounds like he saw something interesting. It sounds like something happened. That's what you want to do in your stories. Bring them in and tell them something fascinating. It does not matter what genre it is. You have to tell it in a way that they want to know what happens next, no matter what it is. And that's a nice short tip for the day. That's all I have to say on this one, but it's a very important one. I hope you enjoy it and I hope it's useful to you. If you want more writing tips in the future, please press the red subscribe button, and next to the subscribe button is a little bell, and that will give you notifications to tell you when another writing video is out. I hope to make a great many of these, some shorter, some longer, and please take what you find useful and discard the rest, and have a nice day.